It's Power Hour LSU.
All right, cut it. All due respects to Lacey Dex Productions. Holy crap. So we were live for the entire game. So if you're just watching the post-game show, we suck. We really aren't that great of a football team. And it's down all the way to the coaching, to the players. We had some very positive things that we will get into for tonight's post-game show. But the truth is, your two stars, which are Brian Kelly and Garrett Nussmeier, have regressed. They have regressed. You still see the same mistakes that have always been their weaknesses, which with Brian Kelly, it's been game management, clock management, timeout management, overall game plan management. And Garrett Nussmeier, which is red zone turnovers, bad deep ball throwing percentages. If you do a little bit better in both of those aspects, you probably win this game today on the road. But the truth is, did LSU deserve the result today? Okay. Don't just look at the wins and losses here. Don't just look at it being a binary thing. Did we deserve to go on the road and beat one of the better coaches in the SEC in their house? And the answer is no. We did not deserve the result today. We caught the lucky breaks. We did. Were there a few penalties that could have gone our way? Sure. But our red zone touchdown through the air was a lucky ricochet. We stripped the ball when Ole Miss was getting ready to score another touchdown in the first half. They were the better team, and we cannot, for the life of us, find a way to put out a decent product versus a team with a pulse. Offensively, we are still a mess. We are still a mess. We cannot run the football. We didn't even try to run the football really in the first half. We had 9 carries in the first half, and 4 of them were to a wide receiver. We stunk. Okay, we really stunk. And I give LSU a lot of credit. They fought hard to the bitter end. It wasn't a lack of effort defensively. It was another good performance. We'll get to it in just a second. Some of the weaknesses. This was not a elite game from Blake Baker. This was a regression for him, even though he's been fantastic this year for LSU. But the truth is, we do not deserve to be a college football playoff team with the offense being as bad as it is right now. It's an absolute disaster. This offense is a disaster. And to talk about the only bright spot really offensively in this game was something we lucked into. Now, it's going to be interesting when Brian Kelly confirms this, but according to the LSU radio report via a tweet from Matt Moscona, I wasn't able to listen to it because, well, I can't play the volume when I'm live for the whole 3 hours. But Carius Kern was a huge bright spot today. We lucked into it. Weston Davis got hurt in the warm-ups, and DJ Chester wasn't even available to be a right tackle because he was suspended for the first half. It's crazy that the only bright spot was something we lucked into. We don't have Weston Davis to blame here for our offensive issues. So what was the biggest weak link with the LSU Tigers was out of the equation here. And we still stunk. We still flat out stunk. Okay, we didn't have Caden Durham. You saw how valuable Caden Durham is to our team. He's still our best running back to me by far. We didn't even try to run the ball until late with Harlan Berry. We have no offensive identity. We're soft. We're not mentally strong by any stretch of the imagination. But the truth is, what really holds you back in life, and this is true in every walk of life. And let me know in the chat right now, type Y for yes, type N for no if you can hear me loud and clear, because I really, really, really want you to take this away from me, because a lot of you are going to move on with your life. You might be going to Fred's to drink your face off, or Ivar's if you're over the age of 28. You might be getting ready to watch Alabama-Auburn, or Alabama-Georgia, excuse me. You might be ready to jump into a volcano full of electric eels. Whatever it is that you're about to do, I want you to take this away from me. The worst thing in life is not when you are bad, or not when you think something is bad. It's when something you think is good turns out to be bad. And the biggest strength on this team, with this team, on paper going into the season, was Garrett Nussmeier. We relied on Garrett. We thought Garrett was going to get us to where we needed to get to. But he was a big weakness today. He was a big weakness. So we have a full 2 weeks to get ready. Obviously, we will play an undefeated Texas A&M team at the end of a 3-week stretch. We will play Vanderbilt on the road, but our first game will be against a talented South Carolina team. Trinidad Chambliss with his legs today was an issue. Lenore Sellers is about as good as it gets running. So we'll see what happens. And before we get into some more minutia, big picture, LSU objectively is still in the college football playoff race. They are still objectively in it. If you were to look at the first 5 weeks of the schedule for LSU, you probably would have thunk we would have been 4-1. I don't think many of us in our heart of hearts thought we would be 5-0. But now that what we know about Clemson and Florida, and now that we know Ole Miss was very beatable today, you are going to feel sick to your stomach that you are not a 5-0 team. And a lot of that is on Brian Kelly. Okay? So I'll tell you this. If you're a diehard Brian Kelly fan, this isn't going to be the live stream for you. Okay? If you're a diehard Garrett Nussmeier fan, which I am, I have been so much of a Garrett Nussmeier defender, defending the red zone turnovers, defending this and that and the other. This stream isn't for you. Okay? This stream is not for you. Let's get to the supers. Tari, called it like it is. Don't forget, every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, we will be live at 6 p.m. Central. You have a film study tomorrow at 8 in the morning in your inbox. And Tari was right. He was saying Garrett Nussmeier wasn't what we expected it to be. Jeff in Denver, I think he moved from Denver, but Jeff in Denver is what I always remember with Jeff. It's inexcusable at this point, Carter. Nuss needs to be benched. First competition of the year, and it's unsurprisingly typical LSU, says Yusha in Ukraine. Worldwide PHL audience tonight. Okay. Now, let's start with Brian Kelly. Okay. This was a horribly managed game from Brian Kelly. And there were two really bad pieces of coaching management. And then there was really elite coaching management. So at the end of the first quarter, LSU played it about as good as you possibly could. Okay. And I judge head coaches based on game management errors because it is 100% on them. Okay. You make the macro decisions. Play calling, it's a bunch of different people. Okay. But in the first quarter of this game, Brian Kelly smartly knew that the clock was going to run out, drew an offsides penalty, and then we took a free shot down the field, and it was pass interference, or it should have been. Really good coaching. Now, into the second quarter, Lane outcoached us. Smartly went for it on 4th and short instead of kicking the field goal. Analytics say go. He decided to go. I might have kicked the field goal, but I'm an aggressive 4th down decision maker, and Lane is obviously that. What drove me crazy, though, was with 15 seconds left and a timeout left, when the ball is on the left hash with a right-handed quarterback and the receiver motions to the right, they're going to roll out. We only had 2 defenders into the rollout. You've got to call a timeout. There's no reason to save it with 15 seconds left because you're not going to do anything offensively. Then in the 4th quarter, it's 3rd and 1. You throw on 3rd and 1. They ran for it. Couldn't pick it up with Juwan Johnson. And on 4th and 1, you bleed a full 40, call a timeout, down by 2 possessions, by the way. Then you have a false start penalty out of the timeout, and then you have to convert a 4th and 5. It's a big problem. The score line was not indicative of how bad we performed in this game. And what makes it so much worse is that the LSU Tigers that were on the Ole Miss team kicked our ass today. Sage Ryan actually played good. Deshaun Womack, I think, got away with the penalty on the 1 sack. They did call it, but he did some good things in this game. And obviously Logan Diggs scored a touchdown, but they weren't really the reason for why we crumbled. Gaming Heavy says, appreciate you being live for the whole game. Hey, it's not just you. It's our friends at Fortified Gulf Coast, Labor Therapy, Zion Imaging, Fast Draft Fantasy. Thank all those partners. But your super chats are where I make most of my living. And I really do appreciate people like you. Okay. But yes, it starts with the head coach. He makes the most money. He gets paid $10 million a year. And Brian Kelly sucked today. The guy on the other sideline is right now a far better coach than the guy that we have. It's just that simple. Okay, sometimes it really is that simple. That's going to get me in a world of trouble, and that's fine. I am willing to say it because the same shit happens over and over. And I swear, there is one person who can do something about this, and it's Scott Woodward. All right, this is what I would do if I were Scott Woodward, because this approach is not working. So, Scott, if you're watching this, please take this to heart. Please, okay? I don't mind a fiery coach on the sideline. Some of the best coaches we have ever seen were fiery on the sideline. Guys like Nick Saban, guys like Urban Meyer, they were fiery. Steve Spurrier. I don't mind people getting chewed out on the sideline. I don't mind a pink tomato coach. Does not bother me in the least bit. But the chew outs never work. They never work. All we do is see Brian Kelly on every damn sideline yelling at somebody else, someone else, as if every single one of our assistant coaches are totally incompetent, which, if that were the case, you were the ones that hired him. So if I'm Scott, I would go to Brian Kelly, look at him in the face. They're like me, not the tallest. I will happily be there. Us 3 5'8" folks, I don't know why my screen is doing this. I would love to be in the room and say, look, quit fucking yelling at other people and just get your shit straight. Just get it straight. I'm sick and tired of every game, the special teams coordinators and assistant coaches getting chewed out. Chewed out. For what? For what? Are they really that bad? You've chewed out every single assistant. I've seen Cortez chewed out. We can't get lined up properly. It's you. It's you. It's you. Fix it. Please fix it. Please. I'm so sick of all these timeouts being burned. For what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Fix it. Because look, when Nick Saban would chew someone out, it would be fixed the next game. It would be fixed the next game. It's every game we're chewing someone out because we got to blow a timeout, can't get a substitution right, another false start penalty. It's every single game. And I'm lenient when this happens on the road. I am lenient because it's hard to play on the road. You're going to have more penalties on the road. It's always going to happen. I am fine with that. I can live with that. But the problem is when it happens every game. It's every game. Every single game. I'm sick of it. Now, we go to Garrett Nussmeier. Tough performance. Tough performance. If you're hurt, don't play. If you're hurt, don't play. Let me repeat. If you're hurt and you can't throw a simple ball down the sideline, don't play. Okay? The Chris Hilton pass interference penalty was the most throw I have ever seen Garrett make. And what if he's not injured, but he's just cooked in terms of all the hits, all the games that he played last year where he was throwing the football in the face of pressure? It's a problem. So you have a quarterback who throws INTs in the red zone, who can't throw a deep ball, who also can't run. You also have no run game. What are we offensively? What are we? So Garrett, 21 of 34, 197, a touchdown, and an INT. Not great. No QB scrambles in this game either. It's a problem. It's a big problem. So at the half, Xavier Thomas had 4 carries for 7 yards. No other running back had more than 1 carry. Juwan gets 5 more, and Harlan Berry gets 6 more. And we had a long run of 10 yards. It was Caleb Jackson's lone carry. Our run game is such a disaster. And then you take a look at our pass game. We only had 1 explosive, real explosive, and it was a 50-yarder to Xavier, which you could legitimately argue was a potential penalty. Okay. You got to start having some honest conversations about some of the pieces in this offense. I know Kyle Parker had some good conversions, but at the same time, they were playing so soft defensively. The final 4th down was really good. I'll give him that. 2 different 4th down conversions, so you give him that. But you see that none of these throws are explosive. Barian Brown is a deep ball receiver. Long catch of 15 yards on the end breaker. The 50-yarder to Xavier was slightly underthrown, but it was a good throw. Aaron had to catch a ball that was behind him. That eventually got him hurt as well. That's not the ball being behind him is not what got him hurt, but you get the point. We don't have the juice. We just do not have the juice in our pass catching room right now with our rotation. Okay, our receivers are fine. Obviously, this receiver room is about equal to last year's. We don't have that true alpha. But then again, the quarterback play is what it is now. And then the tight end play is just completely fallen apart with Mason Taylor not being in the room anymore. This was a brutal Trade as Green game. This was a brutal Bauer Sharp game. Brutal. I might have missed something. I do a lot of prep before games. Obviously, Caden Durham didn't dress out. We did not see Donovan Green. Let me see if he was out. Maybe I missed him in the injury report. I would have played him some in this game. Maybe I missed it. We'll see what the PFF roster report actually says. But we go back to the game report, and we're going to get to all your super chats. Don't worry. Let's go here. Total yards. They deserve to win. They had 230 more total yards, 110 more rushing yards, 150 more passing yards. They had 14 penalties for 109 yards, and we still couldn't win. We had one of the best INTs we've had of the Brian Kelly era. Still couldn't win. Still couldn't win. Average yards per play. At the half, we were at 5.3. We finished with a measly 4.5 yards per play. This game felt so much, and to me, was a carbon copy in many ways of the Florida game last year, where the Gators ran 92 plays. Ole Miss ran 84 plays. 84. That is a ridiculously high number when it comes to total plays in a game, especially if there's no overtime. So just to give you a little background, and this isn't analytical, this is more a counting stat thing. 84 plays for a season average is normally like bottom 3 nationally in terms of defensive plays per game. So in other words, if you play 84 plays defensively, it means your offense sucks. And it also means defensively, you're not playing terrible, but you're also not playing great. And normally it also means you're not getting off the field on third down. And we could not get off the field on third down. Ole Miss was far better in the third down department and fourth down department. We were 4 of 13 overall on those downs. Ole Miss was 10 of 19. And the question becomes, what do we make of the Blake Baker experience in this game? How did Blake Baker coach in this game? It was not his best. It was not his best. And a lot of it wasn't Lane Kiffin mastery. It was some weird calls from Blake Baker. Weird. All right, we already talked about the rollout at the end of the half. That was bad, really bad. But if you go back and you could see it during the halftime study or during the halftime stream that went into the whole second half, the third down calls, there was a 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 14 they converted. They were way too conservative, way too conservative. I didn't understand why he did some of the things that he did. Now, he had some genius calls mixed in there as well, and we broke that down. A lot of those were in the first half. But you see, we don't really have much of a pass rush with our front four. We have to get home with blitzes, and you can run into issues with that, obviously. So, for me, this was not an elite Blake Baker game. This was a fine Blake Baker game. It was good enough to win today if you have a better offense game from Blake Baker today. But the truth is, the score line will look like this was a one-possession game because it was. But we deserve to lose. And this would be another grand-scale Brian Kelly thing. Once again, if you are a fan of Brian Kelly, this stream is not for you. It is not for you. But Brian Kelly preaches process over results. Always. Process over results. Don't just focus on the results. Focus on the process. Okay? Brian Kelly going into this game had the best SEC win percentage in one-possession games, which is a good thing. That means he manages those situations well, which is partially true, but it also means you're lucky. And if you look at the Brian Kelly era overall, we have actually won too many games like this one. Okay? Where we were outplayed and we somehow found a way to win. The Ole Miss game last year was like this one, except we won thanks to Garrett and Kyron and some clutch plays from quite a few different players. We did not deserve to win the game last year. And then you go a few years ago where we wasted arguably Jaden Daniels' best game. He was sensational. And then you go to the first year where Ole Miss was killing us early. And then we came back thanks to Jaden and Perk and so on and so on, which is something. But I told you guys, what are the 2 plays? What are the 2 plays you should have made in this game? I said bet Ole Miss first half, and then I also told you bet the under. Okay. I spent hundreds of hours, it seemed like, studying this game. It was the deepest pregame film study we've done earlier this week. And this game played out how I thought it was probably going to play out, which is the offense would sputter and defensively we would be fine, but not good enough. And overall, that is the bottom line. What I did not expect, though, was Garrett having the game that he had today. And it's time for us to start being honest about a few big questions about some guys that we think are elite. We'll talk more about some of those others in just a second. So let's go into the super chats once again. I got what I needed off my chest. I try my best for my post-game shows to make it as interactive as we possibly can. There's 50 LSU post-game shows going on at the same time. I also need to rely on you guys because I am tired. Okay, we've done 4 hours and I did a SEC show this morning. So let's go. Let's go to Rai. He says, I'm hoping for better days ahead coming off the bye. I still hope for the playoffs. I'm so bummed, though. Yeah, so when I've gotten into the 8 versus 9 game SEC debates over the past couple of weeks, the thing that I've always said about 8 versus 9 or whatever your SEC schedule format of your choice actually is, I've always just wanted to hammer home the point that getting to the playoff is awesome. I would love getting into the playoff, but this is also LSU, okay? It's a little bit different with Ole Miss. Getting to the playoff is a Super Bowl for them. We win natties, okay? And while I am not a natty or bust kind of guy, all I want to do when discussing this stuff is make you answer the question, are we doing the little things right for us to go win a national championship at LSU? Are we actually doing it? And the answer to that right now is no, we are not doing the little things right. We are not, okay? And that's a problem. Let's go to Cody. I never bet the Tigers, but bet them tonight. Bet 20% of my remaining mortgage debt on the game. Just discussing with myself. I'm sorry, Carter. I got to go. Cody, you're also a Steelers fan, which good luck tomorrow in Ireland. Let's keep it going with Michael D. Brian Kelly is a weak leader. Now, I will say this. I will not call Brian Kelly weak. Okay? If anything, he's the opposite. He's bold. He's been the strongest proponent of the 9-game conference schedule. So he's bold. I don't think I could call him weak. Now, if you're saying he's weak in terms of like he's not good, then I can hear that out. But right now, he's not a top 5 coach in the SEC. He's not. Lane is way better than him right now. I hate to say it. Now, as much as I hate to say it, I've always said he's a great offensive coordinator. I don't trust him to actually get this team over the hump. He wasted an all-time great Ole Miss defense last year. But, I'm not – this isn't just a Lane glaze here. I want to also, hammer home that we've got to have better from BK. Let's go to Chillmonger. What's up, Carter? Long time no see. Would you have what point would I have put an MVP? And how pissed was I at Weeks and Perkins was a no-show? Yeah, I'm not shocked that Perk had some issues because no one fears Harold Perkins more than Lane Kiffin. So he wasn't going to let him win. And Lane is also a cognizant offensive mind. He did a lot of motions to where he would motion a slot receiver to Harold Perkins' side to spread him out. But I don't think Perk was terrible in this game. I could see the PFF grades being unkind to him, though, for a few different reasons. But Witt had a bunch of tackles today. West, I also thought was okay. We had a Leangelo Ball reference to West Weeks, which I think was kind of weak. But yeah, okay. So we have a Hail Mary coming up in this Tennessee game. They're just giving them a simple out. Oh, they're going to call holding, so this won't count. Okay, we'll have overtime, Tennessee. But yeah, good to see you, Killmonger. What the hell was that 2-point conversion call? Oh yeah, it's so bad. Like it really was a terrible call. The thing is, one big problem with LSU and football honestly is a numbers game, in particular now with the offenses. There are different looks you want to check into runs. The problem is, and this has been a big problem with the LSU offense over the past couple of seasons, we can't punish other teams with running the football versus light boxes. And when you can't do that, you really need expert quarterback play to get you out of it. And I keep going back to the offense of LSU's last season. If you broke it down, we still averaged 6 yards per play or roughly around there, which is good. But we were a third down merchant team. Okay, so going into the game, we were 7th in the SEC in third down conversion rate. But so much of our offense was converting third and longs and third and longs and third and 7 and third and 11, third and 8, where we were eventually not going to be able to keep converting those because at some point, the well is going to run dry on third and longs because it's statistically not a favorable down. So you lose Aaron Anderson in this game, who is one of the best third down converters you'll see. Then we don't have Mason Taylor and we don't have Kyron Lacey. They converted a lot of those third downs and fourth downs. We're in trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. And honestly, so much of today was showing you that Mason Taylor is still underrated. Like, we had really bad tight end play today. Really bad. I do think LSU needs to ask a question about what is Trey Green's role in this offense. So he's not a great blocker. You're not going to get really any yak from him. He is a 6'6" jump ball tight end. It's weird. Now he's nursing this injury he's coming back from. So it's a little bit more square peg in a round hole-ish type of situation here. And we've seen this in the NFL. The tight ends who can't block are becoming nuances are becoming something that hurts the offense. And it's a problem. It's a problem. So I don't know, because Trey Green didn't have a catch today. So if he's not out there catching the ball or drawing pass interference flags, and he's not particularly a shifty guy, what are we going to do? I mean, if we need to pick up a first down and we're running an intermediate route, I would prefer a shiftier guy in there. Let's go to Trey. Glad I meditated before the game and drank during. Good to see you, Trey Beatty. Let's go to Chillmonger. How the heck can the O-line not stop a 3-man rush? Well, I've got bad news. One thing I put in my notes from the Louisiana Tech game is if I were a DC, I would play a lot of odd fronts versus this offensive line of LSU because we couldn't block Louisiana Tech's odd fronts with 3 guys. So a lot of those 3-man rushes got home, and yeah, it's a problem. It's a big problem. Let's go to TJ. Okay, I'm going to give TJ a lot of credit here because, well, he has been very vocal in his skepticisms of Brian Kelly. very vocal. So he has stayed solid on what he has said about Brian Kelly over the years. Different fundamental issues every year. We're not going anywhere under him. Until he's gone, we won't have a shot at building an elite team or staff. And that's the problem, is we are in year 4 of this. And we have had plenty of instances to fix this staff. And we still can't fix it. We still can't fix it. And we've had some continuity. What's the one big change he had to make? Well, he had to fire a defensive coordinator that he hired in Matt House that I did not like. And that was an obvious decision to make. He didn't have a decision to make with Mike Denbrock because he probably had to run it back with Joe Sloan with where LSU was in that cycle for the coaches. Okay. So it's a problem. It's a major problem building a staff. We're not a good staff. And then there are some, and this gets behind the scenes, which I don't like getting too much into behind the scenes stuff because that's not really my forte. I'm always honest with you guys. I am not Ross Dellinger when it comes to the staff. And I'm not some internet or journalist, journalistic sleuth. Now I have a journalism degree. I feel like I have a good idea of what can be reported on and all that kind of stuff. But I want to share a few things that I notice, and it's something we brought up on Twitter and we'll bring up here. We have deer in the headlights coaches. There are just so many instances where on the sideline or in the booth, whether it's Joe Sloan or whoever else, it looks like we're prehistoric. We don't know. We don't know what the F hit us. Okay. Like, I don't know. It looks like we need dude wipes on the sideline because it honestly looks like we have coaches that are shitting their pants at times because we don't know what we're doing. We look overwhelmed by the situation. We look unconfident. That's why earlier I brought up maybe Brian Kelly intimidates his coaches by yelling at him the way that he does on the sideline. I don't know. We have deer in the headlights coaches. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You just can't. Let's go to Lonnie. Do I think Kelly is going to bench Nuss? By the way, I want to shout out Lonnie. I want to shout out Chillmonger. Now, I won't do it, but I do want to include. We have a lot of Q dogs that watch our channel. All right. I am not a Q. I'm not going to throw up the hooks. Okay. That's disrespectful to you guys. But welcome the Qs. I come from a family of long lineage of noops. So I hope you guys don't race off somewhere else. One of my best friends in college was a PHIBETASIGMA. I appreciate y'all's donations. I really do appreciate it. But anyway, do I think Brian Kelly is going to bench Garrett Nussmeier? No, I don't think so. And one of my coaching grades for LSU, I don't do my grades on Patreon, Chillmonger, until I rewatch the game. And I sometimes don't rewatch the full game. I'll just watch some abbreviated plays, but I have a good idea of where the grades are going to be. And honestly, I feel the offensive line is going to get a B for me because I grade on a scale based on expectation. And Based on expectation, I thought they were fine today. I know when I rewatch it, they're not going to be as good. But we got a Sigma in here? Okay. Dude, I'm telling you, man. Let's go. The frats, take care of me. I appreciate you guys. I really do. I wish, like I said, I wasn't in a fraternity. So what about the other frats? The other frats got to start showing me loves. I need some of the Ole Miss frats showing me love, baby. I need some of the Tuckers and stuff like that to start super chat. That wear cowboy boots and have a dip in their mouth. I love it. Where the Sigma Chi donations? Where are the Kappa Sigs? Oh boy. Tennessee wins. Not only do they win, they cover in overtime. That is a brutal cover. Oh man. Look at Chillmonger. Sigma's always looking for attention. That's true. That's true. LSU is the Iowa of the SEC. That's fair. I love it. Everybody, welcome Geodude to the channel. Look at him working out at Planet Fitness. I see you, Geo. Oh, you got a fade, Geo. Let's go, bro. That timeout call pissed me off. It pissed me off too, man. I said a lot of bad words. And by the way, I promise I'm going to answer all the questions I possibly can, even the ones that aren't super chats. Okay. I have cursed a little bit. I say a little bit. I've cursed a lot. My partners know streams during games can get like that because coaches are cursing quite a bit. So I want to shout out to me, my brother in Christ from college. Okay. My guy, Thomas Laborde and theboardtherapy.com. Thomas is always praying for me. And if you're in the Lafayette region, Thomas and his team at Laborde Therapy, they're always willing to take care of you. Now, coming up next, can LSU back their way into a playoff? Power Hour Network listeners and viewers, you might be consuming this content with that crick in your back that you've been trying to get rid of for so long. Take this as your sign today to book your appointment with LabordeTherapy.com. In the Lafayette region, there is no one that you will find that cares more about any different type of pain that you might have than the team at LabordeTherapy.com. Book today. Once again, that's LABORDE therapy.com, or you can visit one of their 5 locations all throughout the Lafayette region. PHL Nation, it's time to lock in and get serious really quickly with our friends at Fortified Gulf Coast and FortifiedGulf.com. This is my buddy Ramey. He is one of many Fortified Gulf Coast inspection professionals that are doing something to help you not only save your home, but your memories.
The Fortified program got started about 13 years ago. We adopted it here in New Orleans about 2.5 years ago. It's a more advanced way of doing the roof. It adds an extra layer of protection, whereas even if a hurricane was to pull the shingles off this roof, water will still not get into the house.
So yes, your establishment is important, but what about the things you can't replace? That family scrapbook or that painting that's been handed down from Meemaw to Papaw and to you. It is important to protect that today with Fortified Roofing. And while this seems like a priceless asset, did you know it can actually save you on your homeowner's insurance up to 37% if you are in South Louisiana? Just call the number 504-444-7563. That's 504-444-7563, or visit fortifiedgulf.com. That's FORTIFIEDGULF.com. Let's go. All righty, so there's a piece of me that honestly just wants to stop the live stream. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I've been streaming for like 5 hours in a row. But dude, this just disgusts me. Even if we would have won the game, I would have gone scorched earth on this. To bleed a full 40, we bled the full 40 and then decided to call a timeout. Just run a fucking play. No, I'm locked in. I'm gonna be honest. My mother made some lasagna and sent some over to the crib. And dude, lasag, bro, lasag gets me going. Gets my heart warm. But you know, I would not be shocked if I were you, if you see LSU really slide down my power rankings. So I had LSU 6 in my power rankings. I swapped them for Alabama, and I let my bias get in the way of it. So I initially, and go to the SEC channel and see this, I had LSU as the 6th team in the SEC, and I had Alabama 4. After some deliberation, I switched them, and I should have stood fast, but I didn't. And I think you got to put LSU no better than 9. Honestly, 10 would be generous. And I know it's just one game, but honestly, it's more than just one game. Okay. And I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. All right. We put up 19 points. We are still the only SEC team in the entire conference to not put up 24 points in a game versus a P4 team. We're the only ones. You know that Sam Smith song? I know I'm not the only. No, we're the only ones. This is arguably the worst offense of the modern era. Okay. It's so bad. It's so bad. Okay. Obviously this offense, you would like to think it's better than the Anthony Jennings offenses. You would think it's better than the Brandon Harris years, but we had Leonard Fournette. This is bad. So I don't quite get it. I really don't. Let's go to Guitar George. We knew they weren't a good team, and even if they win out, which they won't, they will have major problems, all of which you have been stating. Yeah. And look, this shit's hard. I'm not saying I'm the be-all, end-all, knower of everything LSU football. I am not. But I will say, compared to expectation, this has been one of the worst offenses. And it goes back to the overarching Brian Kelly point that we made 2 weeks ago after the Florida game. He cannot put together a full team. In 2022, we had the worst special teams unit in the history of LSU football. Then in 2023, we had one of, if not the worst defense in the history of LSU football. In 2024, we weren't really bad at anything, but we weren't necessarily great at anything. And we had the worst rush yard before contact defense in the history of LSU football. Then in 2025, what happened? What happened in 2025? We field this offense, which was predictable. I felt the offensive line would have its issues. I did not think Garrett was going to fall off a cliff. Was I very vocal about the deep ball issues? Yes, and it's layered now because last year he did not throw a good deep ball. He really didn't. It was very inconsistent. And this year, you would like to think it's the injury, but I am not a gazillion % certain it's just that. It's definitely playing a role into it. And then he still won't run. There were a few rush opportunities that were there, but it is what it is at this point. Nuss can't throw in rhythm to a wide open wide receiver. Shimona, long live Kyron Lacey. Yeah, I saw that on Xavion's mouthpiece. We did miss Kyron today, even though he'd be in the NFL now. Oh man, I hated it for Kyron's family because some Ole Miss burner accounts brought up some really nasty stuff, but my prayers always to the Lacey family. Let's go to Mr. Colt. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for your donation. Brian Kelly is protecting Nuss so much, and I really think he is a big part of this offensive problem. He's just way too confident. Are you saying he's protecting Nuss in terms of public perception? Or are you saying he's protecting Garrett Nussmeier in terms of play calling? Because in terms of play calling, we really didn't run a whole hell of a lot. One thing I will say that I do think contributed to some of Garrett's issues. First drive of the game, Tyree Adams got beat really bad to the inside, and he took a big shot. Okay? A big, big, big shot. Like a shot of tequila level shot. 2 pina coladas level shots. Let's go to Blake. Thank you for the super chat, Blake. We'll talk about Blake Baker in the super chat. See what I did there? When they rush 3 and we can't run or pass the ball, there's some big issues. Yeah, so a lot of the rush 3 problems were just their guys beating our guys in one-on-one block situations, which is a problem. It's a big problem. And I think teams are going to continue to do it. Also, part of the issue is our tight ends really cannot block. They really cannot. And that's a problem. Which is why I'm interested in Donovan Green's situation. He might have been hurt. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have to go back and rewatch everything. Braden, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Drowning in the scenery. You're super. Did I miss it? I did. I owe you an apology. If you want me to refund you, I'll happily send you. I really will. I don't like missing supers. Droning in the scenery. Vanilla Ice OC. Ice, baby. And let's go here. Nuss can't throw in rhythm to a wide open receiver. Well, first off, drowning in the scenery. Once again, I apologize to you. It is on me, especially if you're a first-time super chatter. Your hard-earned money was sent in my direction. I really do mean this sincerely. Now, I will push back on this live stream in the second part of the super chat because I bring this up time in and time out. How many wide open guys did you see today? Like I'm talking about Wide open spaces. How many times? There's not a whole lot of times where you see that. So it's a problem. It's a problem. So the only thing I'll push back on is guys aren't running wide open. But I will say, to your point, Chris Hilton should have had a touchdown in this game. He should have had a touchdown at some point. Okay? I'll give you that. Fade post on the INT. All right, let's go to Braden. Forgot to write my super. Brad Davis hasn't produced a rushing offense that is ranked higher than 32, which was without his own recruits with 2018 Mizzou. Is it time to question him as a coach? Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. And the big question is, the big question. Now, let me go to this super. This is a deep super. But also, I love you. I love life. And I think you're a beautiful man. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm there you go. Beautiful. I don't think I've been described as beautiful. But here's the truth. I think it is a good time. I think the biggest thing that needs to be answered, though, is why wasn't Carius Kern playing earlier? That really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And I'll get the full story here, but it's a problem. North Texas. I think Braden's gone deep. So I've done the same thing, Braden. This was like a Patreon deep dive that we did earlier this offseason. And you could see it for yourself, patreon.com/LSU football. And tonight we'll post the game grades, player grades, all that stuff. But one thing I did notice with the Blake Baker, Brad Davis, is the splits of PFF grades when he was coaching a player compared to when someone else was coaching them. And it wasn't that great. It didn't paint that great of a picture. Okay. So it's a really good point by you. And we continue here with drowning in the sea, or droning in the scenery. So I mispronounced your name as well. Running back. Don't understand inside out run lane. Yeah, I don't know either. We have no run game. Like I said, we ran the ball 9 times in the first half, 4 of which was handed off to a receiver who might be our best running back, which is crazy. But I am glad that a guy like Harlem was able to get some confidence with him scoring a touchdown. Let's go to Shimona. My thing is, BK does not know how to manage his coaching staff. Came here, fired all the talented staff, had to beg some of them to come back. One thing you'll have to say is Corey Raymond's done a really good job with this corner room. The corners were good today. DJ had a tough first half, really tough first half, but PJ was amazing. PJ Woodland was amazing in this game. And thankfully, he had that pick that was really good. Oh. John says, I'm running out of excuses. The real deal. Nuss just needs to run to make them play straight up, keep them even. So you're saying we should do more zone reads and Nuss pull it from time to time? There was a zone read run that we had in the first half where I got a few texts saying that Nuss should have pulled it. I don't think it was a pull read. I think the handoff was the right decision, but we still got stuffed. It's a problem. It's a problem. I don't know, Joshua. I do think he pulled him. I do think he pulled him. As sad as it is to say. So Garrett Nussmeier declines to answer questions in the postgame about his health. Okay. Let's see if we got some Brian Kelly audio up. Let's see. All right. God. All right. So this is via WBRZ. We'll play some of this. And we will be back. So let's hear from OBK.
The game in itself, right? Disappointed in the loss, certainly. But there's a game within the game, right? I mean, I think you start with the first half where our inability to sustain anything on the offensive side of the ball put our defense on the field for over 50 plays. So at the end of the day, when you put it all together for 4 quarters, we didn't play complementary football, which you have to do in this league. You have to be able to complement your offense and defense. And we were out of sync with that. When our offense started to move the ball a little bit, our defense couldn't make a stop. In the first half, we couldn't do anything offensively. We settled for a field goal. Or in one instance, we throw a pick down there. We just couldn't get this whole group playing together with the same effectiveness that you need to win games like this. So this is not about they didn't play hard. They got to play fast and free and physical, but they got to know that they have to complement each other. And we can't play this game of, well, we're going to play well defensively for a bit, then we're going to play okay on offense for a bit and go back and forth. This team has to click on all cylinders, and we're not clicking on all cylinders right now. I believe in this team. I love this group. They're really good football players, but we got to get them to complement each other on a day-to-day basis. And in terms of the game itself, not a day-to-day, they prepare very well. So those are my observations. Let's take some questions.
Coach, when it comes to that complementary football, how much of that was maybe affected on the offensive side just by Garrett's health? And did he ever re-aggravate anything during the game tonight?
Whose health?
Garrett's health.
No, I mean, look, Garrett Nussmeier's got to play better. Every player on offense has got to play better, and then we have to be more consistent on defense. I mean, we there's not one guy that you will put out, Koki, and go, well, that was the reason why we lost. There's there's many players that have to play their best when their best is needed. We weren't very good on third down, right? We've been a really good third down team. We have to be better on third down, and that's not just Garrett. You know, that's we got to get open. Our coaches got to get our guys in a position where they can make some plays. And look, you saw it. We struggled with completing a deep ball, where they did very well completing the deep ball. So I don't want to go too long on the answer, but this is not a Garrett Nussmeier problem. This is an entire football team of guys doing their job at a higher level.
All right, so it's not just a Garrett Nussmeier problem. I agree with you. It's a 90% Garrett Nussmeier problem, though. It really is. Like, outside of the Barry-on throw versus Clemson that was not counted, how many down the sideline deep balls have we connected on this year? The answer is 0. So that's tough. It's really tough to take in. Okay, but we'll continue.
Ron? You had no penalties in the first quarter, the third quarter, one in the fourth quarter, the second quarter was a disaster.
Yeah, we had 4 penalties on defense on the one drive, you know, and they're our best players. And so, you know, look, whether it's a PI or it's a late hit, those are our best, you know? And so, you know, you want your team to be aggressive, but we have to play with composure. That drive was so different than anything that they have shown this year. And that's what makes it frustrating for them too.
John, you feel like Garrett's throwing the ball with the usual velocity that Garrett throws with when he's in his prime or playing at his best?
I mean, the quarterback is going to get micromanaged when you lose games. I get that, Jacques. Look, all I can tell you is, you know, he's healthy. And, you know, again, I think he would tell you, just like Tyree Adams would tell you, just like Chris Hilton would tell you, Barrow Sharp would tell you, we need to play better and more consistent on the offensive side of the ball.
Jared? Ryan, you talked about the defense needing to play at its best, but how much of this is asking them to do too much at this point?
Well, I mean, clearly we held on for dear life in the first half because we put them on the field for 50 plays. But that wasn't the case in the second half. We didn't have B-gap security. The ball got outside our defense. We had some untimely penalties, and we couldn't get off the field on third down. And they weren't tired. You know what I mean? We just didn't execute at the level that we've been executing at defensively in the second half. And now we're starting to move a little bit and get some rhythm on offense, and now we're not having that same rhythm on defense, right? So, yeah, I think the question is valid for the first half, but the second half, it's, you know, we have to play better.
Brett, Chambliss does, he can make it hard, I guess, to get off the field on third down. I mean, what did you think of the difficulty he gave you guys?
I mean, the game's in the balance. It's 3rd and 14, right? At the end of the game, you know, and we're in cover 2, and they throw a dig on us. Like, we got 5 under on that, you know? We should eat that up, right? So it's a good football player. There's no doubt. I mean, he makes things happen. But we had them in situations on third down. We let them out. We let them out when we had them backed up on that drive that we just mentioned with the 4 penalties. So he's a really good player, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but we did not help in many of these circumstances.
Brian, do you feel like there's enough commitment to the run game early today?
Yeah, you know, when you're up against it, you're trying to carve it out. You know, you're trying to do the best you can. You know, we clearly ran it better in the second half. We had 24 plays. You know, we had 24 plays. It's hard. The game is hard to call when it's one-dimensional in that sense, right? So, I mean, I'll watch the film and I'll do a deep dive on all of those things, but it was hard to get the kind of balance you want with 24 total plays in the first half.
Cobble.
Weston Davis going out right before the game started. Anything affecting the offense there?
Well, we started a true freshman at right tackle. Karis Curran didn't know he was going to start until 22 minutes on the clock in pregame. I'm proud of him. He went in there. He's not afraid. He's not perfect. But I'm proud of the kid. He went in there and he battled his butt off.
It's a long season, and you're not even to the halfway point. What's the message to your team right now?
Well, you hit it, right on the head, Mike. It's a long season. We're disappointed with today. Ole Miss was the better football team today, but tomorrow comes, and we have to realize that. I love the way this team prepares. We have to perform better. Our performance was not good enough today, and that performance has to be synchronized with both offense and defense. We can't play sporadic football where we have spurts of really good offense and spurts of really good defense. We have to put that together. And that starts with your players recognizing that they have to do their job, not somebody else's. And they do.
Brian, I know you mentioned not one specific player, but can you point to any themes maybe on offense that you think need to be remedied, coming out of the first month of the season?
Yeah, I think one of the things we saw today is the inability to hit the big play down the field. Ole Miss did a great job in some one-on-one matchups. They got a couple of plays that really extended their drives and gave them scoring opportunities. We didn't make a big catch down the field outside the numbers. We made some really good catches inside the numbers in the hash, but you got to hit some of those plays, and we didn't hit any of them.
You mentioned the ineffectiveness on third down on offense, but on defense, I think they were 10 of 18 on third and fourth down with conversions. I mean, what did you see on those downs?
Well, I think I just went over one of the big ones, right? We're in cover 2. I think Blake makes a great call here, and we don't do a very good job on the dig route where we have 2 defenders underneath it. We just didn't execute at the highest level. And it's kind of what I told you guys and I told the team. I'm telling you the exact same thing I said to them. It's a long season. This is a disappointing loss. I felt that we had the personnel to come in here and win this football game, and we didn't play up to the level that we're capable of. So I have to look at what's our preparation like. Our players feel the preparation was excellent. They've got to perform at a higher level, and we got to put them in good positions.
All right. So once again, big thanks to WBRZ. And if you want to see the full thing, there's a lot more to it. Shout out Michael Cobble, does a good job. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm hurt. I am hurt right now for this team. Hurt. Okay. One final thing. And I feel like, I don't know. God. I just took a snack and it was too spicy. And Georgia just scores. So it's 14-6 now in that game. Part of the reason why I'm so invested into this team right here. And let me make sure this is the case with this player. Okay. So LSU has a lot of guys on this team that are doing something very noble. And this honestly is a question that you yourself would need to answer if you were in the shoes of Jack Pyburn or Barryon Brown. Who would be another example of this? AJ Halsey is someone else this applies to. And there's another who slips my mind right now. But they are risking a lot of money here. playing for this team. So they played their 5th game for LSU, and this is their final year of eligibility. They have one more potential year to play their final year of eligibility, but obviously it's probably written in their NIL agreements that, hey, you got to play out the season if you want to make X amount of money. It might not be. Whatever the case may be, today was a finality, a fatalness, if you will, to their college careers. So while I have been very critical of this team, I really want this team to succeed, because the reason we are in the spot that we are in right now is because of the unselfish act of these players. Montsor Delane is the other that comes to my mind, but he was always going to the NFL after this season. The other 3, it's not sure if they're going to get drafted. So while I am critical, I am also cheering, because there are so many people on this team doing unselfish things to help get this team to where we need to get to. Okay. And, we say hi to Blake on Facebook. Look, I had this team going into the season as a pretty firm 9-3 team. Pretty firm, with the chance to go 10-2. And that's about where I was. I had them projected around there. Okay. And I still stand by that. I still am around that region for this team. The problem that you do have, though, is, you still get to play Arkansas later this year, but do you have the offense to take advantage of their weakness, which is, of course, their defense. Their defense is the worst in the SEC. We'll see. But the 2 worst teams on your schedule, you've already played. So now you have to answer a very difficult question. Is this team good? The answer to that is probably yes. This is a good team. This is not a great team. This is not a great team. Okay? And I do think you need to be a great team to make the college football playoff, because great teams go 10-2 in the SEC. No, come on. Let's not talk about Coach O. He's actually at the Ryder Cup. Why are we worried about Chris Henry Jr., whose dad played for the Bengals? Outcoached again, and it's everybody else's fault. It's a problem. All right, so here's what we're going to do. In the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to answer as many questions as we possibly can. If you super chat, we'll keep this party moving. Oh, man. I am hurt. I'm so hurt. I mean, Tyron's going 8-4 or 7-5. I go back to TJ, though. God bless. TJ is right on the money. He is so on the money. He's been on the money by Brian Kelly for a while. We got some Colin Hurley love in the chat. And Patrick Payton had an effective game. He did. You know, the next evolution of his game is to be a better pass rusher overall. One guy that we did miss in this game, who was so big in this game last year, was Braden Swinson. You know, Swinson was let me rush the passer and get out of my way kind of guy, where our ends are more of let's eat up blocks and let other guys get back there to make plays kinds of players. You need both. And, you know, they had a lot more instances where their pass rushers were able to get home just by rushing 4 compared to ours, or even rushing 3. Some of that, though, is offensive structure. If you're a defensive line and you actually have to worry about the run, it's harder to rush the passer. If you're going up against an actual runner at the quarterback position, it's harder to rush the passer. Eric says we are an Applebee's on offense. Felt like that in the first half. 2 rushes, 20 yards, it felt like. I tried to make a 2 for 20 joke. Stephen Eckert says it's still early in the season. You'll never know. Yeah, I mean, college football's crazy. Get a bye week. Get some stuff figured out. Oh, I did too, Dez. Especially his parents are literally the nicest people. They watch the channel. Wait, Louisville came back and won today? Oh, my God. That's crazy. Jesse says Witt and Perk rarely make that big play. Yeah, I don't know if this game is on them. You know, when I do a rewatch, I'll give you a better idea of how I feel about that. Obviously, this wasn't Witt's best game, but he did have 10 tackles and he did vomit. Let's go to Eric. Did you notice him picking on DJ Pickett? LOL. Yeah, I don't know if it's really an LOL. I mean, you know, you pick on the true freshman instead of the corner who's going to go in the first round. Every team's going to do that. And, you know, DJ had a tough game, but that's expected. Okay, this is a good question here from Pegasus. And, you know, Pegasus is at every single live stream. I don't remember the last one you missed, Pegasus. But I do want to point out that if you have one of these cool little insignias next to your name, I'll go to your comments quite a bit because that means you're a member and Adam's a member. But I do want to talk about this. Okay. The problem is it's clear that Joe Sloan isn't an elite play caller. It's clear. All right. And we can get into a conversation about what our offense actually is structurally, because I think a lot of us want to know what is our offense. You know, are we underrating Jaden Daniels in a way, and Malik Neighbors and BTJ, and you know, Will Campbell's a better player than anyone on our offense. We lost him. You can make a case Mason Taylor's a better player than anyone on this offense. We lost him. Caden Durham, going into the season, was my number 1 rated offensive player. We didn't have him today. So some of it is just players. You know, you didn't have your best of the best players. You've had some guys emerge, like a Xavier Thomas, but, you know, I I want to start with just some observations. We touched on this a little bit earlier with the play calling thing. Specialty K, I'm probably leaning 9-3 at best, probably around 8-4. But let's have an honest conversation about the play calling operation, if you will. All right. So defensively, I feel like most of us feel we are coached well. Corners are playing well. Safeties are playing ridiculously well. We also spent a lot of money to get that fixed. And a lot is subjective. Lane says we're the most expensive. I don't know the final numbers for any of them, but, you know, we paid up and got some really good defensive players in the portal. So some of it is that. And we didn't go get a transfer portal running back. Maybe the price wasn't right on any of them. I don't know. But let's just take the players out of it. You know, I won't go into another rant about Brian Kelly and the coaching and the timeouts and all of it. But one weird operation or weird observation I see is when I see a coach with the headset on and this is up here. This thing right here is up here. And if you can't hear me right now, that's the problem. We have so many people that wear headsets but don't actually have their mouthpiece down. Ed Orgeron had that a lot of the times. And yes, you can make a case it's important for coaches to hear what everyone else is doing. But if you're not inputting anything, well, what's the point? So in the booth, our run game coordinator, Alex Atkins, never has his mouthpiece down. Never does. I haven't seen a shot where it's been down in this Ole Miss game. So the other coaches, I don't think, have one either. So it's not really a collaborative thing. Also, a huge failure Brian Kelly had on the staff in building the staff is that there's not a whole lot of play calling experience on our team, on the offensive side of the football. We went out and got Lance Guidry, who had a tough year as a Miami defensive coordinator, but he's been mostly good. Guess what? Our defense has been mostly good. It probably has way more to do with the players and him. But I am a big believer in play calling experience if you're at LSU. And we don't have a whole lot of that on our offensive staff. Okay? It's a problem. It is a problem. So what I would bring up, and it's difficult if you are Garrett Nussmeier, and if you're Brian Kelly, what do you do to change it? Because who are you going to get to call plays if you're going to get rid of Joe Sloan? Is it going to be you? I hope not, because you're struggling to manage a game enough. So who else in the staff would be the play caller? I don't know. Let's just say Blake Baker decided tomorrow, hey, I don't want to coach anymore, which is what he wouldn't do. Well, the play caller would probably be Lance Guidry because he's done it a whole hell of a lot. Who would that guy be? Who would that guy be for LSU? Unless there is an analyst we don't know about that is consulting with LSU. Tennessee has a guy by the name of Jim Chaney who has a lot of play calling experience at Tennessee, Arkansas, and a bunch of different places. Came out last week that he's getting paid a good chunk of money to just consult and help. And Tennessee's offenses look different. I do Tennessee film studies. I'm not able to watch every play. The experts that cover Tennessee every day, they say, you know what, the offense looks a little different. Someone did some digging and saw Jim Chaney was able to help with the play calling. This is Josh Heupel we're talking about, a top 10 play caller in the sport. So in many ways, there are so many issues with how the staff is actually consulted or constructed, consulted and constructed. It's a problem. It's a problem. Sibley says change the players. I hope just offensively. In many ways, we're happy the score was what it was today. Now, I would say Stockton's better than us right now too. No. Stockton's a good SEC quarterback. All right, we'll take a few more. If you're still watching and I've not answered your comment, repost it. I'll answer it right now. I promise. Oh, their band played neck. Mm. I'm hurt, man. I'm so hurt. I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt. All right, let's get to as many of these. What travels in the SEC defense and run game? Yeah. Well, the defense was something. It was good. Time to force Garrett back into the number 13 jersey. Yeah, do y'all want to have a jersey number convo? Yeah, Carius Kern has to start a right tackle moving forward. It would be malpractice to not do it. I need an Alani? What's an Alani? No, I'm married. But she sounds pretty. No offense to you, Alani, if you're watching this. I'm fine with my hey. Oh, we're not doing this tonight, Braden. It's crazy as it was. We had 2 different PHLers FaceTime me yesterday, and I didn't pick up on either one of them. And ironically, one of them is our partners at Zion Imaging. And by the way, book your wedding experience today with Zion Imaging. And I'm a wedding DJ, so I work a lot with Zion Imaging. That did FaceTime me from the Peyton Houston game last night. He's a real deal, and I like Peyton a lot, but I don't want to talk recruiting right now. Oh, it's an energy drink. I don't know. Alani is Red Bull on steroids. In O'Brien, just a side note, I like your shirt. You like the shirt? I'll send it to you. I'll sign it and send it to you. Because I'm throwing this shirt in the trash. If you want it, I'll send it to you. Let's go, Steve. I'm kidding. My wife would absolutely destroy me. I can't send this one because my mother-in-law gave this to me. And I love her. Shout out Alice. That's what this offense needs is Tommy Reese. That would make sense. Anthony is asking, is BK just collecting a check? I don't know. I don't think I'd go that far. I think if that were the case, why would he put $1 million of his own money back into the team if he was just collecting a check? Now, are there some SEC coaches collecting a check? Yeah. No. All right, one more quick timeout, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm so tired, and I'm trying to find the right one. Not this one. Here it is. Back after this.
Let's go on a journey together with Zion Imaging. I want you to see this experience up close. And me as a wedding and event DJ, I watched how everybody had so much fun with Zion Imaging. And a big reason for their success is the team. Yes, Jaron Thomas and his family started this off as a passion project, and they have one simple goal in mind: taking your event to the next level. Whether it's a wedding, reunion, quinceañera, school, or corporate event, Zion Imaging is all about family-friendly fun. And I gotta show you on this tour the high-level technology that quickly sends your video session to your phone, whether it's iPhone or Android. Yes, it's the Zion Imaging 360 spin booth experience, serving North Texas, North Louisiana, South Arkansas, Orlando, and more. Give us a call, 318-469-4265. Check us out on Facebook or book us at Zion Imaging, XYANimaging.com.
To drink one of these scarlet letters. Ooh. I normally don't drink on game days because I gotta work so late. Free milk, thanks for the repost. Big Carrie's Kern fans here. Yeah, it'll be up in the morning. Oh, that's a good comment. I tell you, dude, our worldwide audience is so much fun. Well, Yusha in Ukraine was in here earlier. Why LSU could not run the offense like 2019 or Ole Miss? Take too long to set up. Like, it's laughable. It is so laughable that you say, hey, 2019 LSU, as if Joe Burrow's walking through that door. And the one thing Joe Burrow's not doing right now is walking, because his toe is in a jam, if you know what I mean. But thank you. I cannot pronounce this. And if I tried to pronounce this, I would be canceled. And me and Jimmy Kimmel would have something in common. So I'm not going to say this. I would get Shohei Ohtani's interpreter to help me with this, but he is busy putting in my wagers for tomorrow's action on Sunday. So let's go to Van. Ringer tailgate for life. Let's go. South Carolina. Do we need a package for MVB? Yes. I do think you seriously consider it. The thing that's kind of strange is Garrett wouldn't talk about if he's hurt or not. There were throws in this game, though, that were labored. And I kept my mouth shut after my commentary regarding the Berryon interception versus Louisiana Tech. But the thing about this is Garrett already cannot throw the football deep well at all. We saw it last year. His deep ball accuracy wasn't great. And I can tell you that there were members of the LSU wide receiver room that were really frustrated with that. They were very frustrated. Okay. I don't know this guy personally, but let's talk about CJ Daniels. Okay. So CJ Daniels has had a good season with Miami. And, well, the way he plays does not mesh well with Garrett. Garrett always is going to mesh better with slot receivers and tight ends because Garrett is a good intermediate thrower, but his ball velocity was never really elite. And now it was always good, but not elite. And now we're in the spot where it's not good at all. The ball has a flutter to it. Like I said, wait a couple of months, and you would think they were real ducks. Chris, appreciate it. Just cause, homie. Tough game for us, but the season isn't over. And guess what? Your Arden key card is in the mail. But do we really need to consider Michael Van Buren? Yes and no. I do think the next 2 weeks are going to be very telling as far as Garrett going into this bye week. And then on top of that, Michael Van Buren does two things that this offense is missing. He gives you something as a runner. Now, let's be honest about Michael Van Buren as a runner. It's not elite. It's not Lenore Sellers. It's not Taylor Green level. I would say he's probably a lesser Diego Pavia in terms of effectiveness as a runner. He's probably just under Pavia. So it's good, and it's definitely better than Garrett. And Michael Van Buren throws a beautiful deep ball. He really, really, really does. Okay? So what is the offense missing? Well, it's missing an extra element in its run game, and it's missing a deep ball option. And as Sibley points out here, that's basically what I was saying a minute ago. It's part of the reason why CJ left. CJ's usage was fine. It was fine. He had 40 catches. It's just we missed him on so many deep balls. Cody, I can't answer that because political stuff gets taken down all the time on YouTube. And I don't get into the politics, but I would go with I don't know. I don't know which one I would go with first. I don't think you're going to see either in 2025. Not sure if this has been commented on tonight, but our offense is a reverse of the Miles era. We have a running averse QB with the dual option scheme. So let's discuss what a Van Buren offense would look like. Well, the first thing is you would need to ask, do you want to continue starting Carius Kern at right tackle? I would. Then you would need to ask, what is the status of Caden Durham, who was sorely missed today? I do think Durham missing the game changed LSU's game plan too much by LSU's own accord. They were so scared to run the ball without Caden being there, which I think was dumb. I do. You also always need to be careful of reports, right? There was some people that missed some things, including myself. I said in the pregame show briefly that I thought I saw Caden Durham working out, warming up, but he wasn't ever doing it. There was a report in the midweek. And in my defense, I was finishing an SEC show going into our LSU pregame show. There was a report, though, that Caden Durham was trending in the right direction. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of that really at all. Welcome, Parker Acal. Or Akel. Eka. complain about the offensive line all you want, but it doesn't help when your QB can barely move out of the pocket. I think MVB's running ability will make up for our offensive line struggles. It'll help some, but at the same time, Garrett is really good at sack avoidance. But I do think overall you are correct. I do. Steven says he's ready to see MVP. Well, Van, let me know. Do you think MVP is a guy? Are you ready to see MVP yourself? Improve the QB play and the online player improves. His dad does not call the plays for the Saints. Let's go to Bo. Fire Brad Davis, demote Joe Sloan, elevate Alex Atkins to offensive coordinator. All right, we just touched on this, Bo, but I'll go on ahead and address it again because we did get an influx of new viewers. Okay. The problem is to my knowledge, Atkins did not call the plays at Florida State, so he's never called plays before. And by the way, my nose is running, so my apologies. So, and there's no one else on the staff to call plays. So Shimona says he can't be no worse. Well, how do you know that? I mean, I'm telling you right now, and it seems a little sacrilegious to say this, but if you, let's just say you, whoever you are watching this right now, LSU was to come up to Shimona or Jesse. Oh, you put Moscona over me? Well, I'm going to block your ass right now, Bo. I'm blocking you. I am Anthony Munozing your ass right now. I'm kidding. Welcome. Des, good to see you. But the truth is, if you were to be asked by LSU, hey, we fired Brian Kelly. You are going to step in and be the head coach. You would be better at doing that than if LSU came to you and said, hey, you watching this right now, we are firing Joe Sloan. You are going to be the primary play caller. You would have a lot more success stepping in with no head coaching experience and being the head coach than you would stepping into being a play caller without ever actually calling plays. Yes. So if that's the case, you are probably not going to do a good job. You're probably not. Because play calling is that hard. It is so hard. And that's why you never have a staff without other people on there that have called plays before. Why do you think Mike Dimbrock was good? Well, Joe Sloan had called plays before. Now, Joe Sloan's there, and we don't have a whole lot of play calling experience on the offensive side. When was the last disaster OC situation that we had? Well, Ed Orgeron said, look, we're going to go with Jake Peets and DJ Mangus as co-offensive play callers. Neither had ever called plays. Well, one had some experience. But you get the overall point. Yeah, you, Des. Let's go to Grimes. Part of you wants BK to call plays. Well, there's a problem with that. He can't manage a game. He struggles managing the game. Mangus is with the Bills right now. I don't know where Jake Peets is. But yeah, I mean, BK's had some influence on the play calling. To my understanding, he had a heavy influence in the Clemson game plan, or at least I felt like he did. So Alabama has scored 24 first-half points on the road versus Georgia and Kirby Smart. We have not scored 24 points once this season versus a P4 team. Or even worse, a non-FCS team. It's a problem. It's a major problem. Bring back the HB toss dive. Let's go. Huh? Welcome to the channel, Rose. Every rose has its thorns. I love the doggo. Once again, we'll be live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. or no, 7:30 Central, excuse me. How would I fix it? Well, you took one step in the right direction. You had competent right tackle play, which is good. Okay. But yeah, that's a good step in the right direction. All right, y'all, I'm fried. I am so fried. Like literally, I feel like I'm about to pass out. And my wife can't stand the smell of fish. And we're having mahi tonight. We were gonna have lasagna, but not happening. Let's go to gaming heavy. I appreciate you. I learned tonight that Van won top super chatter again. But I will say, this is really cool. A lot of frats support PHL. So we got a lot of donations from Omega Sci-Fi's. Once again, I will not throw up the hooks, but there are quite a few LSU Tigers on this team that are Omegas. I think Nick Anderson's one. I think Tyree Adams is another. Go to Makai Wingo, Ali Gay, Shaquille O'Neal. We got a bunch of donations from Gaming Heavy, who, if I remember correctly, you were a PHIBETASIGMA. I'm not going to sing it because that's your thing. But one of my closest friends from college, Marcus, was a Phi Beta Sigma. Shout out to you. My family has a ton of noobs. We talked about this briefly earlier. The king of the canes. So I appreciate the frats. But I'm telling you, man, it's one side of the fraternity thing. It's not the other. We're the Sigma Chi's. We're the Kappa Alphas, the Pi Caps. Yes. I love it. Henderson State. No, we're not doing the Reddies here. Not Henderson State. You have got to be freaking kidding me. Oh, man. Steven. Oh, man. I love it. That is so crazy. Henderson State. I've quite a few friends that played football at Henderson State. The Ready Spirit. Let's go. I have one of my closest friends is starting for OBU right now. Shout out to GAC. Now, Patrick, goodness gracious. What kind of comment is this? I was getting ready to sign off. Like, what is this? Anonymous Patrick. You could be living in a pineapple under the sea. Now, that would be the only explanation for a comment like this. Nuss needs more time? This is college football. This is not fine wine. This is not that. More time. This is year 5. And he was actually given time to throw today. The offensive line was better. I mean, goodness gracious. More time. I didn't mean to jump on you, but it's like, no. Like, this is a Journey song. It's now or never. Now, well, Black Connection. We are not locks to win anything. And that's a great name, Black Connection. I love it. I always like the creative names. Like WAP, which is a whopper with a 9 pointing right at me. And then you have Will. Well, now that's a creative one. In case y'all didn't know, this is the burner account of the NC State basketball coach. That's who Will is. Do we win that game in Death Valley? Oh, man. I don't know. I think at this point we're close. I think 9-3 is probably the best. The best this team could be at this point. Here's the thing that sucks about it. Now this shit's about to piss me off. We did not. I'd feel better about where we were as a program if Ole Miss participated in a field storm, but they did not field storm. They took the goalpost down thinking that they were going to storm the field, but Ole Miss is now a program that has respect. They don't storm the field anymore. Crazy. Whereas Virginia the other day, did y'all see that? Holy crap. Woo. I saw the tweet where it was Simba on Pride Rock. Crazy. All right, y'all. That'll do it for me. Big thanks to all our super chatters. Grimes, Van taking home the top spot. Specialty K, Eric, Scenery, Blake, Braden, Mr. Colt, Guitar George, Chillmonger, Lonnie, TJ, Trey, Jay, Michael D, Cody, Rai, Game and Heavy, Jeff and Tari in Yusha and Ukraine. Good stuff. We'll talk to you soon. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. Tonight we are doing Mahi Mahi. Let's go.